In this video, we will explain the location and travel settings that are available in Supply Chain Sim. Using the two farms demonstration scenario that is included with the install, click on any location to access its configuration settings. There are a number of tabs available across the top of this screen. The first tab, Products, allows you to set the relationship between the selected location and the products in the supply chain. Specifically, if the product will be produced, consumed, or warehoused at this location. If a relationship exists, it will be added to the stockpile table. The Supply Chain Sim provides for one stockpile per product at each location. Please contact us to discuss upgrade opportunities if this assumption is too simple for your requirements. The stockpiles will allow you to set up their capacities and a level to use at the start of the simulation. Additionally, there are settings that are used to stop production or deliveries when the stockpile is too full, and to stop the consumption or collection when the stockpile is too low. When one of these states has been reached, the stockpiles will not be filled or drawn down until the reset trigger level has been reached. By the way of example, at the corn farm location, the stockpile has a normal capacity of 2,500 units, using the simulation at 50% of capacity, 1,250 units. When the stockpile has been reached 100% capacity, production will be stopped until the stockpile has been drawn down to 85% capacity. Alternately, should the stockpile become 0% empty, collection of the corn will not be considered until the stockpile refills to 15% of its capacity. Note that any loss of production or consumption as a result of the stockpile constraint will be logged and shown in the output provided. The next tab is Production and Consumption. This is where the setting for each product produced or consumed at this location can be established. For detailed information on the settings for this screen, please watch our separate production and consumption tutorial video. Note that the location that only acts as a warehouse will not have the production consumption screen available, as shown at the train loader location. The next tab is the Unloading Loading Bays. On this screen, we can add or remove bays that can be used for loading and/or unloading the haulage assets. For each bay, you can set the speed or time for the unloading or loading event, and include additional periods of time for delay, pre- and post-loading. You can also limit what each bay can do. You can limit the bay to only loading or unloading, limit it to particular asset types such as truck or train, or you can limit it to a specific product. When using the product as a limit, you can also use its complicated option. This will provide a detailed table that allows you to refine the settings for the bay even further, including different rates of unloading and loading. In this example, we can allow Bay 1 to load and unload corn, but only unload wheat and use a different rate. If more than one bay is set up for a complicated configuration, choose the bay to be refined from the drop-down list, or simply click on the bay number. Note that some columns that allow you to limit the bay option may not be shown or will be uneditable as they may not be valid at that location. For example, the corn farm is simply configured to produce corn, so any bay generated will only be able to load the produced product. As a result, the loading, unloading, and the product limiting columns are not shown. Finally, the last tab allows you to define when the bays will be in operation on any given day through the week. Using the hours of operation setting, you can quickly set the location to 24/7 operation or everyday operation to make each day of the week the same, or daily operation to set each day's hours of operation independently. You can use the table or drag the Gantt chart bars to nominate the hours of operation. When a bay closes, the simulation will stop the unloading or loading process and hold the haulage asset unless an allowable overtime has been set. This setting will allow the bay to continue to operate if the unloading or loading event will finish within the nominated overtime period. This may or may not include the post-unload or local time. With our location set, we can now explore the travel settings between each location. To do this, simply click on the link between the locations to show the Travel Details settings panel. The table allows you to set a distance and the travel time in hours between the location, including the variation. If the travel between locations is different in each direction, simply check the Bi-Direction checkbox to expand the table showing a Dispatch From column and additional records. Similarly, If there is more than one fleet traveling between these locations that have different travel times, click the By Fleet checkbox to add the column Fleet and additional rows in the table. This will allow you to provide travel times and variation by fleet and by direction if it is also selected. Now the location and travel settings are complete. We are now ready to run the simulation and evaluate the outputs. Remember, you can always access the help file within Supply Chain Sim or check out our other YouTube tutorials for additional information.